Well, as a country, we're part of APEC because we are convinced that regional integration is key to countries' development, and also that free trade is very important. So in that sense, we have been working all these years to increase trade among countries, to increase also trade of services, and I think we have a roadmap that has been developed during all this year that should be followed. Also, we should continue developing the digital agenda that is essential in the way the world is developing today. But also, as Vietnam has proposed, we believe we need to insist on all the inclusion in terms of financial, social, and commercial inclusion. And in that term, we are thinking particularly on gender issues, women's issues, SMEs, and also access to all people who are entrepreneurs. And we also believe, though, that one other important area is that on these sessions, we will be analyzing, first of all, making a balance of how APEC's targets have been met, and particularly because in 2020 the Bogor targets will be, will be ending, if I may say, the deadline will be met. So we will have also to analyze, have we done enough, or what are the pending issues we have to continue doing, and also how we see APEC, which should be the role and the priorities in terms of the post-2020 vision. So I think many of these are very important issues that we need to discuss and needs to be reflected afterwards in the Leaders' Declaration. There is a big discussions in the world today in terms of the importance of trade, free trade. There are parts of the world who are discussing and thinking that trade is responsible for their problems in life. They believe globalization is the devil, free trade is the devil. And the thing is that I don't believe that's a reality. I believe that there are people who have been left behind, particularly because of this so rapid technological evolution. So some people had the capacity to respond to those, and some industries didn't have the capacity. So some people were left behind, but you cannot blame globalization on that. You have to blame, on one hand, that countries have not developed the policies to ensure that those people will have other opportunities. Because, technology is like that. I mean, in the past, people will, write in the writing machine, and afterwards that changes. So if you only know how to write a machine, afterwards you won't have a job. So we need to constantly, governments, think on how we deal with new challenges. And we will have bigger challenges in the future because technology is so fast moving that every time we'll have that. So one of the things I would say we want to achieve is to reaffirm our conviction on regional integration as a very important key element of the economic development and social development of countries, and also free trade. And I hope this declaration will also be an important milestone, an important block brick on what it will be the ministerial meeting of WTO in Buenos Aires next month. Because I think this is a discussion in the world today, but many of us, our countries, have had the positive effect of being part of a world who trades and it's important to trade with fair rules, but where trade and investment and exchange and regional integration is essential. So that's one issue. But in order to get there, we also have to ensure that all that we implement all the measures so we can meet the Bogor goals, and on the other hand, that we make important steps towards defining which will be the future of APEC. And in the meantime, Santiago de Chile will be hosting the APEC 2019. So we hope also that we, on one hand, learn from Vietnam how to deal with all the organization, even though in Chile we already organized some, But I think we also always can learn from other countries and how they have dealt with different challenges, but also because we believe that it will be very important to put as a priority in APEC's agenda. That is not a priority today. It is an area of work, but not a priority, women and the economy. And that's one thing that Chile wants to ensure that for that summit in 2019 will be one important priority, because we know that the world needs more women in the economy. So there's a lot of different things, and I hope and I'm sure it will be very successful. And we're very happy to be part of it.